You're watching the Urban Debate on Magicbricks Now. I'm Faye D'Souza. As Mumbai gears up for civic elections 2017, and we know, of course, that the campaigns right now are all over the city. You would have heard about it if you are in Mumbai. But here is information that we are going to revise and review for you one more time, because this is information that you should be fully aware of if you're going to vote. All of the scams that rocked the Sena BJP-run BMC in its tenure between 2013 and 2017. Among the major scams were the Mumbai Road Scam 1, the Mumbai Road Scam 2, with over 1,500 crore rupees, the infamous desilting scam, the PPP scam, adding up to close to 2,000 crore rupees in scams. And then there are scams that have not been investigated. Scams about garbage collection, scams about picking contractors. Disha Shah gives us this report.
1,502 crore rupees. That's the amount Mumbai civic body BMC has lost to scams last year. This was the amount that we have paid as taxes to the BMC, which have been duped by tainted civic officials, contractors, and even corporators for that matter. The early 2016 saw major scams come to light, and BMC itself, what they said is that 352 crore rupees, that's the amount that was duped by civic officials and contractors together from the funds released to repair roads. So this was the only reason that you had to drive through pothole-riddled roads for almost 6 months last year. This was why you were struggling to get to work with bad roads, because contractors and civic officials had not done their job. In fact, civic officials, what they also say that if this wasn't enough, they stumbled upon another road scam which runs into thousands of crores of rupees, which BMC estimates it could be much bigger than this. In fact, cases were filed, contractors and civic officials were arrested, but the same contracts were given to the same contractors. This is why the road scam has still not been, the inquiry report is still on. In fact, they are still investigating the third scam, which is the desilting scam, which runs into 150 crore rupees. Remember, these are the scams that BMC itself has uncovered, and mind you, BMC, whose last budget ran into 37,000 crore rupees, much more than any of the state whose books are only subject to an internal audit. This is Disha Shah for Magicbricks Now.
वो तो वोट लेके घर पे बैठ जाएगा सब लोग, अपने को अभी पाँव लगेगा, वोट दो बाकी आ गया तो घर में बैठ जाएगा.
Takes almost half an hour to reach from one place to the other. Even if we try to go to cover the distance by walking, we don't usually do it because there are so many hawkers on the streets which cover pedestrian pathways and everything.
There is no cleanliness. The footpaths are encroached every day. The pedestrian has no way or road to walk.
When we go and complain with the authorities, like the ward officer, he passes on through the building inspector department, who looks after the unauthorized work. But then people get managed over there, the builders and the society goes and pays them bribe. The unauthorized work is still going on, and that is not been demolished.
VDD चाल जो है ना 50 साल के पहले से ये रीडेवलपमेंट करने के लिए वो लोग का बहुत कोशिश चालू है, लेकिन वो लोग हम लोग को खाली ये इलेक्शन आएगा जब ही वो लोग ये काम करता है, इलेक्शन के बाद ये लोग का कुछ काम चलता नहीं.
कोई सब नेता आते हैं, हर एक अपना प्रोजेक्ट रख के अपना काम निकाल के चले जाते हैं.
Senior citizens have got no place to walk, and plus the digging on the road, on the main roads, the digging is going on, and these people, poor thing, they topple. Sometimes they just do the work half done.
Authorities, I have not seen any authorities here. None of the authorities have come to see what is the condition. At least come and supervise and see. As a citizen, is it our duty to complain to the BMC?
Well, that's the truth really in Mumbai, that there's no footpaths, there's barely any clean water, there's certainly no clean air, there's no place to walk, there's no place to drive, there's no place to park. When it rains, it floods. There are schools that are in appalling conditions, and the hospitals don't have enough beds or equipment. So basically, we have nothing. What we have is the country's richest municipal corporation, with 37,000 crore rupees in budget and 51,000 crore rupees in fixed deposits that they're not using, that they're using to earn interest. We don't need an elected body to earn interest on our tax money. We need an elected body that will do their jobs. The truth is, viewers, if we look at the scams that have been unearthed in this last term of the BMC, it runs into crores and crores of rupees. That shows us evidence that everyone in the municipal corporation is corrupt. That contractors are being appointed by people with vested interests, contractors that are not doing their jobs, that are being appointed over and over again. Something as simple as collecting garbage from your house that gets put in that truck and driven to the garbage dump yard is also a scam, is also a reason to make money. And that is why a city as majestic as ours is being treated so badly, because the people in charge right now are corrupt. The good news is, though, there is an election coming up and you get to choose and you get to change. Joining me on the show this evening, Sanjay Jha of the Congress, Clyde Crasto of the NCP, Shaina NC of the BJP. I want to point out here that the Shiv Sena refused to be part of this conversation. One wonders why. Shailesh Gandhi is an activist, he's an RTI activist, a very senior RTI activist. Rajeev Mishra, also an activist. Swapnil Kothari is a senior lawyer who brings in the citizen's voice. I want to start with Swapnil Kothari. As a citizen right now, you heard all of the voices. There's a frustration right now in Mumbai. There's no place to walk, there's no place to drive, there's no place to park. How do you feel going into this election?
In this nation of bellicose bureaucrats and comatose cops, I think the only people who are wide awake and owlishly awake at that and lean and mean is the media at the moment. And but for the intense scrutiny of the media at the moment, these scams would not have been unearthed. And how do I feel going into the elections? I feel absolutely miserable and disgusted, because I know the moment I cast my vote, it's going to be counted. But at the end of the day, am I going to get the redressal mechanisms in place? Am I going to get a BMC which is going to be corruption free? The richest civic body at the moment seems to be absolutely blinded with running into three-figure crore scams, and the hapless citizens. And
let's address that, and I'll take that to Shaina NC. Shaina NC, here's Swapnil saying that if I vote in this election, how can I possibly be guaranteed of a corruption-free BMC? And let's be honest, that's all we need. We don't need big fancy plans. We actually need for the money to be utilized in an honest manner. How do we assure ourselves of that?
Faye, that's exactly what the philosophy of the BJP has been through this election. Our Chief Minister has said that you must choose a government that believes in transparency, accountability, and is given a mandate on its own accord, so it does not need to rely on any party to feel that it needs to be a privy to these corrupt scams. Let's not forget, whether it's the road scam where the contractors for the first time historically were put behind bars thanks to our MP Kirit Somaiya, or our Chief Minister's political will, if you'd like to call it. I think it's important to understand that the civic corporation is the most important election, and I hope that the Mumbaikar comes out and votes, sensibly votes, and votes for a party that
couple
they
of
feel
hands have
is
already
truly
gone up.
accountable.
Shaina NC in
Ours
response
is
to
one
what
party,
you said.
Faye. Today, I just want to, yeah, 1 minute,
Okay.
1 minute. Just let me finish my point.
One more hand going
You
up.
know, today we had a press conference where Vinod Taude highlighted that there were so many corporators whose assets have gone up by thousands of %. I'm not talking about 700, 1200, 3200%. Now, how can you expect to have a representation that is accountable to the people? The BJP has ensured that every candidate will be given like a report card on their asset year after year, which goes out to the voter.
Okay.
We have a lot of
let's
plans
take
when
that.
it comes to infrastructure. If you allow me to speak about solid waste management.
Yeah, we'll come back. I want to take them
each
one point at a
vertical,
time,
if you give
Shaina.
me
So
the
let's
next
just
slot,
take
I'll
transparency
highlight
to
all
begin
those
with.
points.
Let's just take transparency to begin with. Clyde first, and then I know Sanjay Jha wants to respond. But Clyde Crasto, what is your rebut to what Shaina NC said, which is that Devendra Fadnavis has led this entire campaign on transparency?
Well, it's easier said than done. I'll tell you what the BJP manifesto says, that, the last 20 years that they've been there, whatever's happened in the BMC, like, contracts worth 20,000 crores have been given out. They want to probe into that whole, how the contracts were given out. The fact of the matter is that there is a doubt. Even they doubt that there was some kind of scam in those 20,000 crore worth of projects given out of PPP, like private-public partnership. So the fact is, they were part of a system, they were part of a government where there existed scams. So just by saying that they are going to probe into it does not absolve them or does not bail them out of the fact that they were part of this whole scam. So the question here arises that every Mumbaiker who's watching this and knows about this, should the Mumbaiker vote for people who are part of a scam, or will they vote for a party that's part of a scam? So just by saying that we are going to probe into the scam will not absolve them at all.
You're saying the BJP and the Sena, let's point
they
out.
Have to walk the talk. That's as simple as
70,000 crore irrigation scam.
Oh, come on now.
Let's focus on the BMC. Let's focus on the BMC.
Let me tell you one more thing. You have accepted that there is a 20,000 crores scam that is going on, and what you are talking about is all a canard based on conjecture. So you know what? You have accepted it. You are showing it in your manifesto, and all that you were talking about that happened in the irrigation scam is only
I want to just focus on the BMC because we have a limited amount of time, and I want to focus on the BMC and the scams that we're talking about. What's at stake for the city of Mumbai? 37,000 crore rupee budget that comes out of the property tax that we pay. This is the budget that we're talking about. And I want to go here to Rajeev Mishra, who's an activist at this point. Rajeev Mishra, and I want to point out that even though the Shiv Sena is not represented on this panel, ladies and gentlemen, the Shiv Sena has run the BMC for a very, very long time. So both the legacy issues of the BMC and the current issues of the BMC are largely the Shiv Sena's responsibility. Rajeev Mishra, ये जो हम स्कैम के नंबर हमने निकाले अभी 2000 करोड़ रुपीस, ये आपको ज्यादा लग रहा है कि कम लग रहा है?
बहुत कम है। मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि अगर बीएमसी का बजट आप देखेंगी तो पिछले 5 सालों से 30,000 करोड़ के ऊपर का है। 30,000 से एबव करोड़ का ये बजट है और आज के समय में 37,000 करोड़ का है। मैं आपको एक बात बताना चाहूँगा, इनका एक अगर आप मद देखेंगी, जैसे रोड के लिए अगर आप देखेंगी तो 2800 करोड़ रुपए का बजट है, 2800 करोड़ का। हेल्थ के लिए 3,693 करोड़ का बजट है। एजुकेशन के लिए 2,394 करोड़ का बजट है। अगर इस तरीके से आप देखेंगे तो हर मद में हजारों करोड़ का बजट है इनके पास। तो मेरे को तो ऐसा लगता है कि जितना बड़ा बजट उतना बड़ा स्कैम। आज मेरे जो आपने दिखाया या जो मैं जानता हूं, मैं आपको साइना एनसी साहब मैडम को मैं बताना जरूर चाहूँगा। मैं 2007 से 2012 तक का जो बीएमसी है उसको मैंने देखा है। मैं आपको बताऊं, यहां पर सारी पार्टियों के जो सबसे तेज नगर सेवक माने जाते हैं, इनका एक ग्रुप होता था। ये ग्रुप स्टैंडिंग कमेटी में होते थे। ये सब आपस में एक समझौता होती थी इनकी। उसमें मैं नाम भी अगर आप कहेंगे तो मैं बता दूंगा। आशीष सेलार साहब थे उस समय में समीर देसाई थे, विनोद शेखर थे, राजहंस सिंह थे, सुनील प्रभु थे, रविंद्र वायकर थे। ये ऐसे कुछ नाम थे जिनको बहुत आइडिया था बीएमसी के कामकाज के बारे में, और दे आर वेरी नॉलेजेबल। बट वो अपने नॉलेज का इस्तेमाल बीएमसी के करप्शन को रोकने के लिए नहीं करते थे। मैंने जहां तक देखा है, करप्शन को रोकने के लिए उन्होंने नहीं किया। उन्होंने बीएमसी का वर्क कैसे सुधरे इसको लेकर के नहीं किया। उन्होंने अपने नॉलेज का जो इस्तेमाल किया है, मेरे नज़र में, हालांकि ये ब्लेम होगा मेरा करना, लेकिन मैं एक सिटीजन के नाते आपको बताना चाहूंगा कि उन्होंने अगर कुछ किया है तो शायद वो अपनी पार्टी के फायदे के लिए किए होंगे या अपने फायदे के लिए किए होंगे, मगर उन्होंने बीएमसी में सुधार के लिए नहीं किया। अब दूसरी बात जो मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा करप्शन की और ट्रांसपेरेंसी की, अभी आपको एक छोटा सा उदाहरण बताता हूं। जो आदमी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में रजिस्टर्ड ठेकेदार है, मतलब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर है, रजिस्टर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्टर, उसको कोई जरूरत नहीं है कि एमसीजीएम में वो स्पेशली रजिस्टर्ड हो। आपने ई टेंडरिंग की व्यवस्था कर दी, लेकिन उसमें क्या कंडीशन लगा दिया? आपको एमसीजीएम में रजिस्टर्ड होना जरूरी है। व्हाट इज द कंडीशन? भाई, हम अगर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट में रजिस्टर्ड है, हम अगर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में रजिस्टर्ड है, देयर इज नो नीड कि हम एमसीजीएम में रजिस्टर्ड हो।
Okay, Shaina NC, do you want to respond to that before I go over to Sanjay Jha? Shaina NC.
This is exactly what we're talking about. Why do we need to make these kind of reforms, and why do we need to have these kind of assurances given to the public? We have seen that this 37,000 crore budget, how much of it has been misused because of sheer collusion between certain political parties and the administration. Now, if we talk about accountability, how do you make sure that it happens in totality when you're not dependent on anybody and when you know that you have answers to give to the public directly? If we talk about a state government and a central government being the same party and the municipal corporation being the same without any kind of coercion and a mandate which is absolute, you know that you are insured to have certain delivery systems in place. Now, if you even take an example like what happened in in Devnar, post that people kept saying, what does one do? The Chief Minister immediately said, whether it is Mahol or Taloja, we will ensure that this waste is completely created from waste to energy, and we have started that process already. There are many such schemes. If you even see these virtual classes, for example, in the municipal schools, there are programs where science is given so much impetus. Right. If you take, for example, in another aspect, when the development plan, there was the Mumbai development plan which had so many mistakes. The Chief Minister had the courage of conviction to say that we will wait the time, wait it out and make sure that it's perfect so we can take care of the Mumbaikar who is suffering because of sheer lacunas in the system.
All right, it's a Sanjay Jha.
The fact that you've had 3 points which have been highlighted by our government. Right. Wi-Fi, Mumbai, CCTV cameras, there's so many ideas which have to be implemented with absolute political will, which the Chief Minister has shown, and I'm sure the people of Maharashtra and Mumbai will want to have the same government from top to bottom and bottom to top.
All right, Sanjay Jha, respond to that. The fact that Shaina NC has brought up what the Chief Minister has done over the last 2 years. Do you see that as a conclusive plan? Is that reason enough for BJP to be given majority in the BMC?
Not at all fair. In fact, if you look at the aggregate budget of the BMC over the last 20 years, over which both the Shiv Sena and the BJP have in a partnership presided over, their number at a very conservative estimate will be close to around 4 lakh crores. Now, what are we talking about? 4 lakh crores over the last 20 years. The question that any Mumbaikar will ask both of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Shiv Sena, where has it vanished into the blue? I mean, today I'll give you one startling, kind of disclosure that I think will be of great value to all the people watching Magicbricks Now right now.
On TV.
Which is that the BMC with an annual budget of 37,000 crores has not been audited for the last 7 years. Can you imagine that, today a small MSME company and all of them are being forced to go through audits and become cashless and talk of transparency. But today the BJP and the Shiv Sena have not allowed the BMC to be audited for 7 years. I mean, that's an astronomical fraud. So therefore the question arises that today, it's political hypocrisy of a very supernatural order when Shaina NC of the BJP says, we will probe the scams. I think Clyde is absolutely right. Both the BJP and the Shiv Sena have been partners in crime. Now when the elections come and for whatever reasons their alliance hasn't worked out, both of them are taking the position that the other one is responsible for all the misdemeanors and all the financial skullduggery that has happened, which I think is in a way telling the Mumbaikar that we are taking your intelligence for granted. They are actually insulting. I think when Shaina says she will probe the BMC scam, the silt scam, the tablet scam, the water tanker scam and what have you, you are basically saying that the Mumbaikar doesn't understand that the BJP was a complete, shall we say, they were in bed with the BJP, with the Shiv Sena, and they are collectively responsible for the monumental corruption that has invaded the BMC for the last 20 years.
Let me just ask Shailesh Gandhi this question.
To be responsible.
Fair enough. Let me just take this question to Shailesh Gandhi.
Yeah,
Shailesh Gandhi, do you believe right now, and you've spent a lot of time working with the BMC, examining the problems in the BMC, do you believe, like Shaina NC told us, that the problems in the BMC were purely because of the Shiv Sena, and the BJP at that point had its hands tied because it was politically dependent?
I'm quite amused at the fact that people from 4 different parties are all talking of corruption and nobody is willing to take the blame. My point is...
When have you ever met a political party willing to take the blame for corruption, Mr. Gandhi?
BJP and Shiv Sena were together, and if Shiv Sena was doing corrupt acts, it was BJP's duty to have stopped that and said, or we'll get out. Similarly, the Congress and NCP. I do not.
with all due respect to you,
Clyde, just a minute. Let me finish. Please, you say whatever you want after that. I do not recall any major focus where either Congress or NCP or any of the other parties, Samajwadi Party, who have you, talking of major corruption in BMC and saying we need to become transparent. I have not heard of that. I have not seen that. Everyone, and let me tell you, the most ineffective job in my life that I have done has been as chairman of technical advisory committee for BMC to become transparent. And I have been completely defeated no matter what we say.
Do you believe Devendra Fadnavis can actually, like he is promising, give us a corruption-free BMC?
I don't know. I'd like to trust everyone. I'm not saying yes or no to anyone. But so far, no party's record, I'm not talking of individuals, no party has shown anything significant to show that they would stop corruption, that they are really committed to stopping corruption. It almost appears, that perhaps everybody has their hands in the till. And therefore, it's a matter of where citizens want to go. They can go here, there, or
you're saying there's no difference in any of the political parties?
It doesn't appear to be.
All right, and the Shiv Sena is not here to defend themselves, but I just want to understand from Swapnil, from Shailesh Gandhi and Rajeev Mishra, are you three in agreement of the fact that this current BMC run by the Shiv Sena is completely corrupt?
Yes.
Yes, Swapnil.
Yeah, Shaina, the fact that you pointed out that there is a huge budget of 37,000 crores and the Chief Minister is absolutely committed. My point is that is the BMC committed itself to do the right thing? That's one. You have 527 sections and 36 schedules in the Mumbai Municipal Corporation Act 1888. I think that is the largest legislation, if I'm not mistaken. It's even bigger than the Companies Act 2013. Companies Act 2013 has got several corporate governance issues. What about the BMC? Does it have the audit part? It doesn't. SAS last 7 years, it's not been audited. Let's have an audit section included in the BMC Act first, and to be audited by nobody less than the Comptroller and Auditor General of that level. So, because the amount is huge. That's one. Two, I would want that as a citizen, I would want to see then the accountability on part of the officials. Mere filing of FIRs, charge sheets, etc., incorporating several IPC sections has got no meaning unless and until those are taken to the logical conclusion. Thirdly, the BMC officials themselves need to look at the FSI violations, encroachments, etc., and not only just sit on them, but see to it that effective action is taken by the BMC. 527 sections stipulating everything from a dog to a cattle, to water, to roads, to fire. I think everything possible is there under the sun, but there is no accountability. Let us imitate a little bit from the London Council, where the Greater London Authority of 1999.
No, let me just also point out as a rebut to what Shaina NC said about the fact that there are corporators whose money, whose net worth has multiplied tremendously. She's right. A corporator should receive monthly 10,000 rupees as an allowance. That's what they get paid. But corporators from every single party, barring none. And before you rebut, Clyde, the NCP corporators in the Pune Municipal Corporation turned out to be the richest in their declared affidavit. So every single party, permit me to say every single party, including the BJP, BJP's face in the BMC, Manoj Kotak, saw his wealth going up from 2 crore rupees and 64 lakh in 2012 to 4 crore rupees and 97 lakh in 27. Did he do this at 10,000 rupees a month? Rajeev Mishra. There is corruption and it's everywhere.
फिर देखिए, सभी लोगों ने अभी इंटरनल ऑडिट की बात की। मैं इससे भी एक कदम आगे जाके आपको बताऊं, ऑडिट रिपोर्ट कहां पे अंत में जाती है? पीएससी में, पब्लिक अकाउंटेबल कमेटी में। मैं आपको सैकड़ों उदाहरण दिखा सकता हूं जहां पर 2004, 2005, 2006 के ऑडिट रिपोर्ट पेंडिंग पड़े हैं, उन पर डिसीजन नहीं हुआ है। तो आप एक चीज मान के चलो कि न तो गवर्नमेंट का न बीएमसी का करप्शन हटाने का ध्येय नहीं है, उद्देश्य नहीं है। अभी आपको मैं एक छोटा सा चीज बोलूंगा, हो सकता है ये बीएमसी से थोड़ा अलग हो, लेकिन मैं आपको एक उदाहरण दिखाना चाहूंगा। ये मेरे पास 2009 का नितिन गडकरी साहब का पास किया हुआ उनके चुनाव के वक्त का ये पेपर है, जिसमें उन्होंने कम से कम 30 घोटालों का जिक्र किया था और इन्होंने बोला था कि अगर मैं गवर्नमेंट में आया तो ये 30 घोटालों को उजागर करूंगा। ये आप देख लो, 30 घोटाले में आज एक घोटाले की बात नहीं होती है। उसके बाद अगर आप महाराष्ट्र के सब बिग स्कैम को देखेंगी तो उसमें 7-8 स्कैम आपको इतने बिग मिलेंगे, लेकिन उस पर भी आज सारे लोगों के जुबान जो है खामोश है। आज सारे लोग केवल टीवी के सामने आकर करके ट्रांसपेरेंसी की बात करते हैं, करप्शन को रोकने की बात करते हैं, लेकिन जो ग्राउंड लेवल पर जो तैयारी होनी चाहिए करप्शन को रोकने की वो कहीं दिखाई नहीं दे रहा। जो पॉलिसी लेवल पर करप्शन को रोकने की
Rajeev Mishra ji, जो Shaina NC ने कहा, and various BJP people have said this on the show in the past, that the chief minister through his political will has brought about the road scam, has in fact convicted people. They've gone behind bars. So answer that question.
Why did they not object in the house itself? Why did they not say we'll get out of the BMC ruling partnership with Shiv Sena, if that was so the issue?
नहीं, फिर मैं एक चीज आपको और ध्यान में लाना चाहूंगा। अगर बीएमसी के रोड में आपको करप्शन नजर आता है तो एमएसआरडीसी के रोड में क्यों नजर नहीं आता? पीडब्ल्यूडी के रोड में क्यों नजर नहीं आता? हर जगह करप्शन ने अपना जाल फैला रखा है। आप किसी एक संस्था को दोष देकर के काम नहीं चलेगा। आप पॉलिसी बनाइए करप्शन को रोकने के लिए।
Clyde, go ahead.
You know, I agree with Rajeev ji. I mean, he's talking about the road scam. See, there's a question mark over a 352 crore road scam. Okay, I want to tell you that in the past few years, contracts worth 4,000 crores have been given to a group of these 6 contractors. Okay, there are specific 6 contractors who get this contract. Any contract between 50 crores to 100 crores goes to these set of contractors. Anything around 150 crores and above goes to a joint venture among these contractors. So who are these contractors? These are the contractors that have been actually named in the 352 crore scam. So they need to be questioned. That's the whole point. One more point I want to make here is that there's a contractor J. Kumar who has been blacklisted here. Okay, but the same contractor gets contracts in Nagpur to build roads. So this contractor is blacklisted in Mumbai, but he's all right to make roads in Nagpur. I mean, there's a big question mark here about transparency.
I have this very basic question right now. We know that the entire city has been dug up. The entire city has been dug up for whatever reason. Why is it being dug up so close to the election? Are they holding us to ransom that if the party changes that this work will not get complete? I actually want to know, why has this been done right now, right before the election? Does anybody want to make a guess into why the BMC does what it does? But let me just take this question now to Ravi Nair. Ravi Nair is on the phone line. Yes.
I want to tell you one thing. That so much money has been spent on fixing potholes. There are 13 times more potholes in 2016 audit than it was in 2015. So where is all the money going? 13 times more potholes.
Where is all the money going? Ravi Nair is on the phone line right now. He calls us on a regular basis and he has excellent questions. Ravi Nair, go ahead.
Yeah. With due regards to absolutely everybody there on the panel, let me tell you, BMC is like a duffer student. In the schools we used to call the students who don't study as duffer students. Every 5 years they sit for the exam, and the citizens of the state, of the city, उनको पास कर देते हैं, फिर वो वापस फेल हो जाता है. This is the status of the BMC. BMC is a big failure. We call these BMCs as city fathers. So that's one reason why these children of this city, people like me, do not throw these fathers out of the house. And the funny thing is, the panel is discussing figures and scams. They should be discussing solutions. And what are these? We have educated lot of kids who come out every year. We have around a good amount of chartered accountants and engineers and doctors. These people can be asked for suggestions. They should have an ideas bank. They should have a department there who looks into it. One of the corporators should be kept to just handle these sort of ideas bank. And if somebody has to ask me, what do you do with the footpath? I would say that the best thing to put, these hawkers cannot be avoided. They have become a part and parcel of our life. They need to be going underground. When we could have a successful hawking zone at VT and at Churchgate on the subways, why can't we have a similar?
Why is it not being done in the rest of the city? All right, that's a fair question. Why aren't we looking at solutions? And I want to ask this question of Shaina NC, which is what everybody is saying. Fundamentally, it boils down to this. If you believe, Shaina, that the Shiv Sena does not have the political will, that the Shiv Sena doesn't have the transparency, that it doesn't match the BJP in the intent of what you want to do for Mumbai, why is the Shiv Sena still your ally in the state government?
Faye, let me be brutally honest with you. The mandate that has been given to the people by the people of Maharashtra is to the BJP. We have 122 MLAs, which is evident. If you take the city of Mumbai, we had 15 MLAs this time voted in. BJP had more than Shiv Sena, and Shiv Sena had 14. Obviously, every party has the political aspiration to grow. The cadre wants to have an opportunity to fight elections. keeping that in mind, if the Shiv Sena feels that they can give us a petty 60-65 seats, we were not going to take that. There's no question of it. Now, at the same time, you asked a fundamental question. I don't think this is about an alliance. This is about an ideology, which is a commitment to the people of this country. The Prime Minister, when he talked about demonetization, one of the fundamentals in this was electoral reforms, to have better candidates who are honest, who are transparent and accountable. We have taken forward that same movement, and I can assure you that Devendra Fadnavis's integrity and solidarity to the cause as well as to the Mumbaikar is evident. Now, if you really go through our manifesto, there are so many aspects which have not been discussed ever by any political party. Right. We have touched upon every aspect, whether it's a Wi-Fi city, whether it is safety, security, whether it is digital classes, virtual classes with all kinds of provision which BMC have not given even in a Marathi medium. That apart, healthcare facilities, 5 lakh insurance for families. I think that there are monumental thought processes which are going to be implemented by the BMC under the leadership.
Fair enough. Let me just point out on your manifesto, Shaina NC, the BJP's manifesto does mention the things that you're talking about. It doesn't have timelines or deadlines for any of these things. Shailesh Gandhi, the only thing, I'm going to put that up on the screen, there it is. The only thing that the BJP manifesto has a deadline on is the Shivaji Memorial. The rest of it is all open-ended. You wanted to respond. Shailesh Gandhi, go ahead.
Shaina, I think you made a very candid admission when you said that we were not satisfied with 65 seats. So the fight was more about number of seats. The fight was not an ideology, Shaina. I think, let's face it, if the Shiv Sena had been willing to give you 100 or 120 or whatever you wanted, you would have still gone in a partnership with them.
When we have 1 minute, but where did we have the MLAs in Mumbai earlier? Look at the mandate post the leadership of Prime Minister Modi.
We have
115 MLAs so that's why we have the aspiration which grows. Why shouldn't we have an aspiration?
No, if the Shiv Sena had given you 100 seats, then they would be okay and the ideologies would match. Is that what you are saying?
You asked me a candid question of the ideology. The ideology is clear that we believe in transparency, we believe in accountability, and we believe that we should have a mandate which is absolute, so we are accountable from top to bottom and bottom to top.
would have been transparent.
Yeah, so and that's fundamentally the question then. Is it about seats or is it about transparency? Sanjay Jha?
You know, Faye, I can tell you that ideologically the reason why the BJP and Shiv Sena are together is because they have a Hindutva kind of a focus. But we're not discussing that today. But let me tell you, these two parties, and I'm really shocked at the brazen way by which the BJP is treating themselves as to be non-existent partner in the corruption over 20 years with the Shiv Sena. I mean, that to me is like, you know, saying that the people of Mumbai actually are clueless and I will keep riding roughshod by telling them whatever I wish to. The bottom line is that while they could not get into an alliance for the BMC elections, they're enjoying their Valentine's Day today as partners in the state government. So, end of day, the romantic bonhomie is continuing in a very, very leisurely way. The truth is Mumbai has suffered. We can't deny that. I have lived in Mumbai for the last 28 years. And I can tell you that I have been somebody who used to passionately defend Mumbai against New Delhi, and every time, you know, the Delhiites and the Mumbaikars got together. But over the last 15, 18 years, you look at where Delhi has gone. I mean, I'm proud to tell you that it was a Congress-led Sheila Dikshitji's government that transformed Delhi's infrastructure from flyovers down to the metro, etc., and made Delhi into a real, you know, international destination. Mumbai has lost the plot. And somebody has to take responsibility. And you see, where the BJP and Shiv Sena have been very smart is because, see, the average person in Mumbai is not able to understand the role of the state government and the role of the BMC in terms of managing Mumbai. So they still believe that, you know, maybe the old government was responsible at the state level for things that actually needed better micromanagement.
The other question is, the Congress and the NCP have been in opposition this entire time. What have you been doing in the opposition of the BMC? Why haven't you brought this up
We
till
have.
now? It is also your job.
We have. That's what I was trying to answer Shailesh Bhai. Shailesh Bhai, all due respect to you, we have been constantly raising all these issues. We've been on the streets, we've been on the ground level, we've been raising all the issues that have been gone against a common Mumbaikar, whether it's scams, whether it's got to do with water, whether it's got to do with garbage. We are constantly raising this issue. Unfortunately, we don't have the numbers. But, if things go right, we'll have the numbers, and, we will make sure that we raise these issues again, and we'll make sure, and if we come back, back into the government here, we'll make sure that these things are not repeated. And we have been doing it, Shailesh Bhai. I mean, maybe
as the media, okay, in which case fair, I think media is failing because they are saying
they brought it up and
no, media has picked it up, Shailesh Bhai. I will give you copies. We will meet again next time. I will give you all the copies.
I want to bring Swapnil back in again because we started the show with Swapnil. But I'll come back to you.
Like 10 seconds.
I'll come back to you. Swapnil, we're looking at footage right now of sludgy roads, of hawkers on streets, and let's be honest, there are no footpaths in this city. It is appalling. If you attempt to walk in this city, you have to walk down, you have to walk on the road, you run the risk of constantly being run over. There's no place to park, the water is filthy, the air is filthy. I could just go on and on. Every single count that this BMC was meant to deliver on, they have failed. There is no two ways about it. But has this conversation that has gone on so far, Swapnil, has this given you any sort of faith at all? Because you started the show without any faith. Are you convinced now that the BJP means business when it talks about a corruption-free BMC? Do you think that's a possibility? Are you convinced?
Well, not really, because the idea is there, but the commitment is not there, not enough at the grassroots level. The alacrity with which the political parties seem to be playing musical chairs is primarily responsible for this gangrenous spread of the corruption malaise that we all as a citizenry are facing. I think we have to look at the prism. We have to look at this issue of BMC corruption through the prism of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which Modi so very vehemently foisted it upon the entire nation. And I think the BMC needs to have these 9 a.m. morning lessons, morning primers of this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan every single day before it gets out to work. So at the moment, if as a citizen, I'm not convinced about this, as I repeat, that the notion is there, the idea is there, the ideology is there, the dream is there.
But to be fair,
there has to be enough commitment.
The notion, the idea, the ideology and the dream has been there at least for 2.5 years when the BJP took over in the centre and the state. Now that's enough clout. And also, let's be honest, as a partner in the BMC, that's enough clout to have brought about a change. Rajeev Mishra, has there been change?
फिर मैं आपको एक बात बताना चाहूँ कि देखो करप्शन को रोकने के लिए जो रियल शस्त्र हैं आपके पास, जो आर्म्स हैं, आप देखो लोकायुक्त को मजबूत बनाने के लिए इन्होंने 2 साल में क्या किया, ये एक प्रश्न उठता है। आज इंफॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर के लिए, जो स्टेट इंफॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर होता है, उसके लिए गाइडलाइंस है कि आप रिटायर्ड जो जुडिशरी के लोग हैं आप उनको बिठाओगे, लेकिन आज इन्होंने सारे इंफॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर जो है, जो रिटायर्ड ऑफिशियल्स हैं, उनको बिठा रखा है। फिर आप एसीबी का आप देख लो, एसीबी के कामकाज में कोई परिवर्तन नहीं लाया है। दूसरी बात कि अगर देवेंद्र फडणवीस पर मैं विश्वास करता, अगर वो एमएमआरडीए में चेंज लाते, अगर वो एमएसआरडीसी में चेंज लाते, अगर वो महाडा में चेंज लाते, तो समझ में आता कि वो बीएमसी में भी चेंज लाएंगे। उन्होंने ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया। अभी आपको मैं बताऊं, अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग के नाम पर जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट्स को मंजूरी दी जा रही है एमएमआरडीए के थ्रू, आज आप उसमें करप्शन देख लो कितने हाई लेवल पर है। आप यूएलसी जो रिपील किया गया, यूएलसी रिपील जिन कंडीशंस पे किया गया, क्या उन कंडीशंस को फॉलो किया जा रहा है? ये अगर वो दिखाते तो मुझे समझ में आता कि हाँ देवेंद्र फडणवीस साहब, मैं आपकी बातों पर विश्वास कर सकता हूं। लेकिन जब आपने स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से रिलेटेड किसी भी विभाग को दुरुस्त करने की कोशिश नहीं की, तो फिर मैं कैसे मान लूं कि आप बीएमसी को दुरुस्त कर देंगे?
All right, let me take that question directly to Shaina NC. Respond directly, Shaina. Obviously, the state government and the BJP at this point wants to send a message out to Mumbai that the Shiv Sena is completely corrupt. Rajeev Mishra is a very good question. What gives us the guarantee that the BJP, who's done nothing about it up till now,
BJP has only...
Yes, go ahead.
The BJP has only one guarantee, which is to live up to every single thing in this manifesto for Mumbai. We have highlighted point by point what our agenda is and what we propose to do and the time frame. Now, for those who are questioning us and our intent, I want to say, yes, if you want to repair a road in Mumbai today, you probably need to comply with 36 agencies. But if those 36 agencies are part of the same political party, it is that much easier. Not that that is the only reason to vote for us. The reason to vote for us is we're here to give a stable mandate, a mandate which is based on only progressive development and is based on a strong leadership at the center.
Shaina, you woke up after 20 years. Shaina, this is also your agenda on 2009. This is also in your agenda in 2009. नितिन गडकरी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस लेकर के उन्होंने ये सारी बातें बताई थी.
In 2009, we didn't have a Narendra Modi or a Devendra Fadnavis to lead by example.
So the earlier BJP was not Modi of anything.
So I understand.
Earlier BJP leaders were incapable.
I think that
is what you're trying to say.
Can I respond to that?
Sanjay Jha, so this is basically a suggestion that the personality-driven politics means that everyone before this, before Narendra Modi and Devendra Fadnavis
was incapable of running the government. Every leader before this was incapable. Is not what they're trying to say.
I'll call you back. Faye, can I make 2 points here on corruption? I don't know whether Shaina NC is aware, but in the latest survey that has been declared, India's ranking in corruption has actually gone higher over the last 2 years.
Yes.
So please, for God's sake, let's stop talking about Narendra Modi and corruption, because incidentally, the RTI Act was done many years ago, and Mr. Modi's government has not even implemented the Lokpal that was passed by the Indian Parliament and passed by the UP in the 2013 year, which is like 4 years have gone by. There is no sign of the Lokpal that tells you about what is the intent of Mr. Modi's government on corruption. And the rankings are now being talked about globally. We have actually got worse. So that is the real truth on corruption. I think the fundamental point, Faye, is that, end of day, this kind of political rhetoric that Devendra Fadnavis is the sole, kind of panacea for all the problems is ridiculous. Because here is the chief minister who actually was trying to protect Eknath Khadse. Until finally it was huge public and media pressure that actually forced him to quit. And what did Mr. Devendra Fadnavis say? He actually said, even as the investigations are going on, nothing is going to happen. Mr. Khadse is going to be innocent. So we are talking about here a very protective umbrella being provided. Pankaja Munde's case is another classic example of one where there was a brazen attempt to try and siphon off monies, and the case has been quietly buried by the sidelines. So whether it's Mr. Fadnavis or Mr. Modi, they have demonstrated very effectively that the BJP is tall on rhetoric and extremely poor and pathetic in delivery.
All right, I also want to point out that in 2014, this is a similar thing played out where the BJP and the Shiv Sena parted ways just before the election and then came back together later. They released two separate manifestos. The Shiv Sena, for the state election, promised infrastructure development through Mumbai, beautification of Mumbai's beaches. It also promised a Navi Mumbai airport and a coastal road. Now, there's a fair amount of contention on who takes credit for those various projects. The BJP in its poll manifesto, of course, said that it would reduce, and I'm quoting, reduce petrol and diesel prices, 50% grant for drip irrigation scheme, and a security scheme for the aged and pension scheme for the women. It also proposed to empower Marathi medium schools financially. That was 2.5 years ago. And I'm just going to have to take a 30-second break, after which I'll come back to the panel when we talk about this limited public memory we have, where we forget manifestos and we live from election to election. We really need to go back and check on these promises. That's on the other side of this break. 30 seconds and we'll come back. But we're talking about the upcoming BMC elections, and we must point out the scams that have rocked the BMC in its last tenure. We have representatives of the BJP, the Congress and the NCP in the studio. The Shiv Sena has refused to be part of any of these conversations. They sort of know which direction this is going to go into. And we must point out various things. We've visited on this channel schools, in Mumbai that are meant to be run by the BMC. They're an appalling state of affairs. Hospitals that are meant to be run by the BMC are in an appalling state of affairs. And the Shiv Sena, in the run-up to the elections, refuses to be part of not just this one. If you change your channels and don't change your channels, you'll realize they refuse to be part of any debate about the BMC. They refuse to be asked any questions about accountability when it comes to the BMC. And I think that is a serious problem. If we have a party that is running our BMC, that is refusing to be part of conversations, that is refusing to answer questions, then we have a serious problem. Because in the very least, scam or no scam, you should be willing to take questions. Clyde.
You spoke about BMC schools. I have a small data on BMC schools. 40,000 children have left BMC schools, and there are 38 municipal schools that have been shut down. So what are we talking about here? And what kind of budgeting for these schools? What are you doing for these schools? The fact that you mentioned earlier, these schools are in bad condition, the ceilings are falling, the benches are not right, that's the reason people are leaving. So where is all the money going? That's the question. The second point you spoke about Shiv Sena not coming into debates and stuff like that. Obviously they're not willing to answer. Now talking about schools, the whole tab scam. I'm talking about some 22,799 tabs were distributed among the BMC schools of 8th standard and 9th standard. And, this went for a period of, say, about 3 years. It's 50,000 crores. None of those tabs work. They're not in pathetic condition. They were said to be, given by a major Indian company. Those were sent from China. So, the point here is even a small, very important thing like children or schools, 50,000 crores, they have scams in that too.
So let me ask
Shaina
NC this question. This is important. Shaina, while the Shiv Sena remains your ally, both in the centre and the state government, if voted to power, and if the BJP, it's the state and the BMC continue to investigate and find your allies, like you have been saying, find your allies lacking in transparency and integrity, will the BJP prosecute? Will you prosecute the Shiv Sena if you find them at fault in corruption?
I think the Chief Minister has said. Absolutely, there's no question, because our Chief Minister has made it amply clear. And if you just saw a glimpse of the contractors being put behind bars, we all know that there was collusion between the administrative authorities, certain political leaders, and these faulty contractors. And
but no political leader was put behind bars.
Nobody is interested in, the people of Maharashtra suffering. And the unfortunate part is that, yes, we have got a mandate which is short of a very small figure to be in absolute majority. I do believe that the leadership that Devendra Fadnavis is showing is something that is exemplary, and it's probably historical that we have an uncorrupt Chief Minister who is really going by the book. So
but Shaina, just to respond to that,
as well.
I agree.
Aspiration is based on vote share. It is based on merit. It's based on vote share.
I agree that there has been a road scam investigation. I agree that Devendra Fadnavis has commissioned several investigations right now and also asked for an external audit of the BMC. But to come back to the road scam that we're talking about, no political leader was put behind bars. We only had engineers and we had contractors. But obviously, you just said that obviously there were political leaders in collusion in all of this. There were political leaders who were either allowing it to happen or were part of the problem. No political leader was picked up and put behind bars. So that's my question back again to you. Will you put the Shiv Sena in the dock if you find them guilty of corruption?
There are too many ifs and buts in your questions, and absolutely, if there is conclusive evidence, we will adhere to the law. And I don't think that it is for you and me to form a judgment, but it is for the judiciary to. And if the judiciary does find anybody guilty of absolving or amassing public money, yes, they will be put behind bars.
Rajeev Mishra.
फिर मैं आपको एक बात बता दूं, इसमें आपको ना बीएमसी के कामकाज को समझने की बहुत जरूरत है। देखो, बीएमसी में जो भी प्रपोजल्स आते हैं उनका फाइनेंशियल जो परमिशन होता है वो महासभा देती है। उसके बाद जब टेंडर निकल जाता है तो टेंडर की स्वीकृति जो है वो स्टैंडिंग कमेटी देती है, और महासभा और स्टैंडिंग कमेटी में ये सारे पार्टी के लोग रहते हैं, और सारे पार्टी के लोग जब मिल करके बहुमत से या फिर सर्वसम्मति से जिस प्रपोजल को पास कर दे रहे हैं तो उसमें किसी एक की ड्यूटी बनती नहीं है, इसलिए ये उसमें इन्वॉल्व नहीं हो सकते। सकते हैं। और रही बात करप्शन की जो सामने आता है, तो ज्यादातर ऑफिसर्स पे चार्ज चला जाता है, क्योंकि एग्जीक्यूट करने का पावर ऑफिसर्स के पास है।
We look at the track record of the Congress and the NCP in the state of Maharashtra. Scams and various forms of corruption were also part and parcel to that entire track record as well. So right now, what guarantee are either of these parties offering that you will keep the BMC corruption free? Sanjay Jha.
Faye, let me tell you in short, clearly we did some extraordinary work in Maharashtra to have won 3 terms and to have actually taken Maharashtra on
That
several
argument then
indicators.
stands for the Shiv Sena and the BJP over the last 20 years in the BMC.
Pretty much aggressively forward.
Well, they haven't.
No, I know. I want to. No, I want to explain that. However, there were definitely lapses, which is why we lost the last elections. And I'm not even going to try and dodge that. Yeah. So clearly there were failures in our government, both the Congress and the NCP, which is why I think we failed. And we failed by losing very decisively. Having said that, I want to make a point here. That, end of day, the Congress party has very often been considered, and I'm saying it in a very dispassionate manner because a lot of outside analysts have called us a party which has a natural style of governance. And therefore, I'm going to believe that the experience and expertise of the Congress party is an enormous advantage. And, Mr. Chidambaram was here just 2 days ago, actually. And, while he was talking and addressing some issues of a lot of students from Mumbai.
Is what you're offering me as an option, Clyde?
I have an answer for that, Faye. I have an answer for that. You talk about governance.
No, I'm Shaina brought up, Clyde, from the NCP. There have been massive irrigation scams in Maharashtra. So why should we trust the NCP?
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. See, when you spoke about the irrigation scam, it still hasn't come. It's a lot of canard and conjecture that you're talking in terms of when it's proved. We will face it. There's no doubt about that. Now let me talk about governance. I'll quickly tell you that a point that even Shailesh Bhai made and what Sanjay Jha was also mentioning. In terms of governance, what we are bringing together is now you see our candidates. Our candidates are going to bring to the table a lot of ideas because we have candidates who are lawyers, we have teachers, we have doctors, we even have architects who are candidates and are contesting the election. And if they win, we'll have people from different walks of life who will bring to the table a lot of ideas that will help this city to grow better.
Right.
I mean, an architect can always help out to let the city grow better. A doctor will look into health issues. We have teachers who look into education.
Final word to Swapnil Kothari, who came in as a citizen. You've heard all of the arguments. The Shiv Sena has no argument to offer on this panel. What do you think now, Swapnil?
Well, to point out first about what Shaina said at that point in time, the BJP government in fact moved an amendment under 153(3) of CRPC that no government official or a public servant would be criminally sued unless sanctioned by the appellate authority. And that was obviously something which needs to be looked at with suspicion because it insulates the government officers in a certain manner. And there is a kind of an umbrella that cloaks them in a rather dubious fashion. Two, as far as what Mr. Gandhi pointed out, that the contracts need to be put up on the website, I would go a step ahead and I would say that the process for executing those contracts needs to be put up on the website, like what the tenders that came through, the minutes of the meetings that went into making the decision of the entering into the contract. Once we do that, then I think there will be a significant amount. That is what I would call transparency. The audit is something which we go much ahead, much later.
So transparency is actually the 1 point agenda right now for everybody who's watching. The BMC doesn't lack money, it doesn't lack expertise. It's certainly, we don't lack talent in this city of Mumbai. We have the scientists, we have the people who are working with finance, we have everybody here. All we need is a bit of honesty and a bit of integrity when we are running the BMC. And I would like to place an open invitation to the Shiv Sena to join these conversations. You are the incumbent right now. You have to come in and answer questions. There are people who are watching who are going to vote. You cannot ignore these conversations. You have to be part of these conversations. I want to thank all of our panelists for being part of the conversations. We're going to continue this right up till the BMC's elections so that you have all of the information you need to make the right choice. And it's so important to go out and vote for the right reasons. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks NOW. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.